I've titled this video Hollyweird, but let's be honest, the chaos that's in the entertainment industry, I think spreads far deeper than the entertainment industry anyway. You see it all the way within politicians, and it goes deeper into the justice system and all sorts. But it's crazy. You know, we've recently, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but there's talk that perhaps Jim Carrey's now been cloned as well. Like, I know these are outrageous statements. I've done videos in the past. I've recently done ones on Britney Spears, Avril Lavigne, but I also spoke about cloning a while back as well. Now, again, it was just a thought I had on something. And sometimes things start to pass and it starts to become a bit more widespread. Like people are seeing it themselves. Now, I'm not saying every single instance is that situation, because we can get it wrong. But some of them just have telltale signs. The thing with me, though, is I'm not scared of talking about topics. I'll talk about anything. Hence why I do this video if I was worried. But you can't fight every battle. So we all have a path in life, and I think some people are going to be here to expose the corruptions. Other people will be fighting against injustices in other areas. There are people that just, this life is just about, evolving themselves. So there's going to be different avenues for people to target, because that's what they feel compelled to do. That's their path. For me personally, I don't feel my path is to focus on celebrity culture, fame, and all that nonsense too much, because I don't like celebrity culture anyway. So I'm not actually attracted to it. It irritates me. So the idea that I look deeper and start going investigative work like other people are doing, I can't see me doing that. Again, not because I'm scared of uncovering things or the ramifications, just my purpose lends me a different direction. I think I've got a bigger purpose than that in my own sense, So the other side of that, of course, is, so see, sometimes when I talk, I know it can come across egotistical, so I have to refrain. I was reading my book back recently, My Losing Your Mind to Find Your Soul, and I actually reflect on it at the end of the book as well, where it's hard to talk about things without explaining it. So if I don't say it, then I'm leaving out information. If I do say something, then it looks like I'm full of myself. It's like you can't win. So I've had a lot of signs in my life. Again, that was my spiritual book, Tarot. That, success will come. And that means being in the spotlight. The thing about me is I don't crave the spotlight. I don't really care about it. I just want to be able to help people, have a nice life myself. Other people, outgrow their circumstance. They improve. We all improve together. It's beautiful. That's all I want. Not interested in celebrity culture, like I said. Not interested in fame. So if I am ever in the spotlight, I would say people don't, unless my attitude deeply changes and you can see my eyes shift, which I don't see that ever happening in my lifetime, by the way. Now, you could say that for the other people, but I am deeply spiritual. If anyone was to read my book, you will understand how divinely guided I am. And so I've had attacks on me spiritually. So I've had my own experiences, and I know how to fight against it. So the way I see it is, a lot of these people who have had maybe rituals done on them or something like that, they haven't known how to defend themselves. I do. Now, maybe there's still much more for me to learn, but I have no doubt that if a situation were to happen, I'd have been trained ahead of time, by spirit. So I'm not really worried about that sort of thing, because with me, other people, maybe they sit there and they panic. I wouldn't be panicking. If I was in a situation and you're compromised or whatever, I would just immediately, no matter how bad it got in a situation, I would just constantly be focused in on shielding myself, fighting back on the other side, although I know how far-fetched that can seem. And I would just be calling in the angels and Archangel Michael to come in and fight for me. So it wouldn't be a case of some entity can someone just consume you. There will be a battle for that consumption then. It's not a case. So I'm not worried in that sense, because I'll do everything I can to protect myself. And I don't feel other people have known what to do, and they don't want you to know what to do. So anyway, look, time 333. So when we talk about, signs, 333. That's crazy. But weird. I didn't plan any of this, by the way. Of course, you could say, you see it up. No, didn't look at the time. I just thought I'd do it. I stay up late sometimes. It's just wild. But yeah, because I've recently just thinking about the price of fame. I did a video on it briefly there, but recently. But I was just looking at my low views The fact that I get an awful lot of signs, even through myself. If I ask what's coming, it's always this big breakthrough, this big opportunity, and something's coming. And you look and you think, that seems mental though, because I haven't got anywhere for ages. And you can't help but think, like I was thinking about it just now, and I was thinking, well, if I had my breakthrough any sooner, I'd have been caught up in this mess. Not from the fact that the accusations, I can deal with that. You know, like maybe it looks like you're linked to this, linked to that. Well, I can deal with speculation and all that nonsense. It's more the fact you probably got caught up in the actual situations. You could have caught, you know, maybe you've been invited somewhere and then you're in the middle of some shit that you didn't plan to be a part of. But again, I'm not really into that. And I've said that, but I'm quite open about it. I don't care if I come across boring. I'm not interested in impressing anyone, never have been. I don't like parties. I don't like big gatherings. Doesn't mean I can't cope in environments if I'm in a situation. But if I'm invited somewhere, most of the time I say no. And the more pressure someone puts on me, the more stern I get. So, for instance, if it was like, oh, come to this event, it's going to help you. It's going to do it. And I say, no, I'm not interested. And then someone keeps hammering it. It's like, now I'm definitely not interested. Because I don't put up with pressure. It's the worst thing you can do with me, pressure. I'll probably give someone a freaking tip now. Do things delicately. But again, I'll follow my gut instincts and stuff like that. But we have lost people. I have no doubt about that. Because not only have I done my tarot cards asking about, I mean, I can get this here in a minute. Let me just get this up on my screen. I'm not going to go to full detail here because this isn't my, I think we have our own battles. This isn't my battle. So I'm not going deep into this shit because it's not, right now, it's not my part. It's not, I don't want to be rude like that, but it's just I've got other things to focus on. I don't need to start consume my energy in a different direction. It's the same where some people are really going deep with this Epstein stuff and exposing it. And I watch and I'm learning a little bit, but I don't want to consume too much of it because it's so dark. You know, I can only cope with so much to hearing that, and it just messes with your head a little bit. You know, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that right now. I know some people think that's ignorant, but you can only consume so much before it just takes over you. You know, it's like I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it, and I can recognize who the bad people are. And it's like I said at the beginning, there's going to be people whose their purpose is going to be to expose things, and they'll go off and do that exposing. But it's not that I'm scared of exposing things; it just drains me going in that negative direction like that. I don't particularly want to spend time there when I've got other things to do, you know. So like, the reason I've got this picture up, really, the thing, yeah, these are reposts, is because we got Britney Spears here now. I don't believe she's with us anymore. I did ask my tarot cards. There's a separate video on that. You can watch that if you want. Take it, whatever information you want from that. I've recently seen the version of her that's supposed to be her lashing out, going mental again. And it's just, I look and I'm like, that's not Britney anyway. That's not Britney. You get lookalikes all over the place, and the plastic surgery is so big nowadays. You only need to look at someone who's a part lookalike, and you can easily alter her a little bit to make her look a bit more identifiable. And then have you noticed there's always smeared makeup all over her and shit? It's always to diminish the look. That's not her for me, which does raise questions about the $200 million sale of her music collection. If Britney's no longer here, who gets that? Because any proceeds should go to her children. If it's gone anywhere else other than her kids, raise alarm bells to me. Raise alarm bells anyway. And that actually upsets me about Britney because I think she was such a light soul. But people, they don't know how to defend themselves. So the things I've said I would do, I don't think they had a clue. You know, so they just get caught up in things they can't defend themselves against. Now, I've had a gifted individual. I've spoke to someone about the Avril Lavigne thing for my tarot cards and the Britney Spears. And immediately after I said that, they've got gifts. And they had a vision of how Avril Lavigne died. So Avril Lavigne isn't here. That's not the real Avril Lavigne, the one that's prancing around as Avril. She died. And then I was asking further questions through my cards. And that means Avril Lavigne only made the first 2 albums. Any album after the first 2 albums isn't her. And that makes sense to me because her music changed drastically. That Girlfriend, hey, you want to be... That weren't her. And that was never her music style anyway. So it makes absolute sense. And I've heard this other one try singing and she can't hit the same notes Avril did. Yeah, you could say age changes you, but I don't think that drastic. So yeah, I know how Avril went, and it was quite traumatic, to be totally honest. How Britney went is a bit more nuance, I guess. I don't know exactly the circumstances, but I have an understanding of who did it. That's as much as I'm really going to talk about there. But there was a suggestion in the news a long time ago that she had a car crash, and it makes you wonder whether that car crash was when we lost Britney. If you have to do the maths, you'd have to do. I mean, I'm not going down a celebrity thing. I could do, but I'm not going down that path. But if someone was to uncover that and check how the music changed after, or whether the music kept coming after, because that's really what you got to look for. Just have a look there. Doesn't mean that is exactly how they went. Could just be speculation, you know. And again, I'm not here to sort of tell people, you know, I'm just telling people what I know, and then people can do what they want with that information, go and investigate or not, you know. But we're seeing it now with other people. I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going down the path of asking about every single individual, because to be honest, I can decide for myself without even asking my cards, you know. But there's some dodgy shit out there. I immediately, before I saw everyone else go mental, because there are a lot of copycats out there, they hear something, they just start mirroring what's said. I prefer to think for myself, you know. And then again, I'll have my guides I'll ask questions to. Now, people that ain't spiritual would obviously think, that's nonsense. I'd say read my book, though. At least read this. You know, I'm not trying to plug it, but it's just, I've read it back myself, and I thought it'll open people's minds. That's for damn sure, I think. So I saw the video with Jim Carrey, and I was like, oh my God, that's not Jim Carrey. That's not Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, not you can have surgeries and all sorts, but Jim Carrey was aging, because I noticed him, I don't know if it's like a few months ago, I just looked and I thought, he looks like he's getting really old now. Like, he looks exhausted. You know, and actually it's going to happen. But if you've had a stressful life and things, it takes its toll. So he not only was he looking old, I think he was coming across older, you know. It's just, but now this video's come up where there's been a ceremony, like something in France, and this version, full of energy, absolutely mental, you know, ridiculous compared to that. If you talk about just energy levels, looks completely, like energy is completely off. Doesn't look quite the same. I'm not even sure the freaking vocals is the same. If you look at that, that's something to take. I do think something you could look at, which, you know, I think if someone's scared about any of that happening to them, do you know, like all that cloning or soul transfers and all sorts of shit, maybe get, well, I think one way of dealing with it potentially is get a tattoo that's very hard to replicate, because it's hard to hide that. I think, I'm sure I saw this video recently, because I know Selena Gomez is, that's not, I don't even have to ask the question. I knew it weren't Selena Gomez when she started talking like a robot. She was quite open and very, she can communicate very strongly. And now this one just sounds like a mouth's half closed. It's like, that's not her. That's just boring as shit. There's no personality there. It's like a freaking deranged robot. And I'm pretty sure there was a video that come up, and it showed that she used to have a tattoo on her neck, and there's no tattoo there now. Yeah, you could argue you're masking it, but that's the excuse for anything. You can always come up with an excuse as to why, that looks different now. But it's like, yeah. And it's the energy. Forget about what people look at, the energy, and does it feel like the same person? Forget what you're seeing, because that's the trouble. Someone sees a lookalike and they think that. Think about that. You get lookalikes everywhere. So it can be done. It can be mirrored, and there's an awful lot to gain. Let's say someone's at the height of their fame and something happens, or they want to cover up some mystery. Keep them alive, keep their legacy alive for a bit. Creates an illusion, so covers up what happened, but also maybe there's money to be made from it. That's really what it comes down, money and power, isn't it? But yeah, I find it quite sickening that people we're losing, you know, because I thought like Britney was incredible. Like personally, I recently bought two of her DVDs. One's her music videos and one's her live performance. I haven't even watched her live performance yet, because I haven't brought myself to be able to sit and watch a version of her, you know, the who was here, knowing you got this fake persona mimicking her and ruining her whole legacy. People think she's crazy. She's lost her mind. That one spiraled way deeper than she would have gone, I believe. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. I could use cards to ask further questions of certain people, but again, I'm not going down a celebrity culture. I'm not going to do many videos talking like on this stuff, just because I've got other things to do. If you look at what I'm doing with my books, my next book is politics and society, but it's focusing on freedom, humanitarians, and things like that. I'd rather focus on exposing some of the corruptions in politics and society, which, you know, fame's an illusion. So I'm not spending my life focusing on the illusion of fame. You know, that's a whole different kettle of shit. And I don't give a crap about fame. So I won't really care. You know, there's too many people that just sell out and they go through this ritual shit because they want a quick buck. They want people to notice them. Why do you want people to notice you that bad? Why have you got to perceive yourself to be better than everybody else? That's the issue, really. They weren't so determined to be celebrities so quick. They could have done it a graceful way. You know, but that whole industry, I think, is toxic as shit. So, yeah, I'm not going in that direction because I'm too busy focusing on showing people the light rather than focusing on the dark. That's just me personally. That's my path. So we're going to go through some. I'm going to show a couple of examples, though, while I'm on the topic, because now, look, I don't believe every little thing. There's suggestions that Youngblood, I'm not a fan of his music or anything, but he seems bright enough. There's some people now suggesting that he's Ozzy Osbourne has had a soul shift. I don't see that. But again, I'm not here to say something's right or wrong because I haven't investigated it and asked my cards. But then I'm not going to bother my spirit guides with every bloody topic under the sun of every celebrity that exists and whether that person's a lunatic. I think some of them are lunatics before anything happens anyway. You know, you can see it in them. You can see the darkness with them. So I'm going to go through something. Look, so it's going to be hard for me to do this because the videos are so wide-ranging. We're just going to have to see some, I guess, and then just skip along. There was one about Billie Eilish. Now, the thing is, I'm not a big Billie Eilish fan. I mean, I like a couple of her songs. Is it Wildflower? I think it is. I don't know. I quite like that. But it's like, I don't know her library. I don't know about her personally. And like she said some things opening up possibility that there, you know, the scandals in America with indigenous people, you know, saying that, you know, it's about politics really. So some people think, oh, she couldn't have been part of this problem because she's speaking out. Well, a lot of them deflect. They'll create an illusion this way, so you don't think they're this way. Now, I'm not saying she's part of any of this shit or not, but this was quite suspect. And I think there's a problem in the movie industry, but I think a bigger problem in the music industry. To get your music contract, you have to sort of do some dodgy shit to get it, whether it's be exploited by someone. So, yeah, you have acts done on you or you perform acts on someone else, quite dodgy as shit. And then there's probably rituals as well. I mean, look, I don't want to go around this fact of calling people out, but I think if you look at Beyonce, for instance, she was supposedly this Christian girl. She come through in Destiny's Child. They seemed quite light-hearted enough. They didn't seem too bad, did they? I mean, if you go and listen to their music, I mean, I've got a Destiny's Child album still. Don't listen to that shit because I don't like Beyonce. I've even got a DVD of theirs. Don't know why I got it years and years ago, back in 2000s. But I don't even like Beyonce. So I'll never consume any of that ever again. You know, I don't like her energy. I don't know what she stands for. And I don't particularly like her as a person, a human being even. If you look at her attitude changed, especially once she connected to Jay-Z. She's gone very dark. And I wouldn't, if I was ever asked which one do I think does dodgy shit like Satanism and all that, I think definitely her. I definitely think there's sacrifices for her to have the privilege she has. And I don't mind saying it. It's just, that's an opinion. People don't like it. You can have an opinion in life. I'm not saying it's a fact, am I? I'm saying it's opinion. Yeah, I don't mince my words. I've got no interest. I haven't really got interest in meeting celebrities. If it's someone genuinely kind and you know, there's something in common and all that, great. See him as a human being rather than their status. You wouldn't see me lining up to freaking get an audience with someone or pissing myself just because, oh my God, you can't, I'm in the same room. Who gives a shit? You know? I intend to get where I'm going in life based on my skill set and the way I carry myself and just get there myself with the support of spirit, the angels. I'm in no way working with the dark shit. And I wouldn't even spend time around it. So, yeah, I'm not built the same as other people. I don't even care if I make it, but if I make it to a high level in my lifetime, as long as I did what I do, which is what I do, and I've done it. So if we took away all this, even in this lifetime, I've done more than enough. 7th book, there'll be another 8, there'll be an 8th book this year. My spiritual book, my second spiritual book will be out by the end of the year. Yeah, it will be. So by the end of this year, I'll have 9 books. And I think I've done my legacy. Whether it ever gets recognized during my lifetime, I can't control that. But I would argue that I deserve a breakthrough. So it wouldn't, I can't, it's earned. So if I ever get a breakthrough, it's been a long time coming, a decade in the making. And it's almost one of those inevitable things, I think, personally. Like when the breakthrough comes, it's because people finally see it. I have signs I've been hidden in plain sight. I always think that if I've not been hidden for so long by spirit of the universe, there's no doubt in my mind I'd have had a breakthrough a long time ago naturally, organically. But I feel I've been held back, and I've been irritated by that because it's not fair. You know, I don't think it's been fair on me at all. But I still keep doing the work that's required of me, and I do that. So I'd say if I'm ever in a spotlight, I wouldn't, I wouldn't sort of like make assumptions that, oh my God, you've done this sellout. No, a decade of hard work, mate. I've been doing everything the right way, and you won't see me mingling with some dodgy bastards. Even if I was, if there was ever a photo and I'm near someone, you can best believe it's like that was just a single moment where I'm walking away. It's unlikely you would get. So, for instance, someone like Beyonce, I'm not just picking her out because I'm making it very clear I don't like her. You wouldn't see me in her vicinity, and if by some miracle they've managed to wiggle their way close to me, I guarantee you I'll be getting away from them as fast as I can, and I'll be rude as shit if I have to. I don't do pleasantries. That's the thing with me. I don't do fake shit. So even if they said hi, it's like, no, you're not getting a hi from me. I don't like you. I don't like you. Don't care how much money you got. Don't care how popular you are. Don't give a shit. So when I feel bad energy, I'm getting out of there. If I don't like someone in general, you won't see me wasting my time with them. That's just me. Anyway, we're going to try and go through some of this. I'm only going to go through some because, again, this is such a mixed bag. This is my reposts. So I can only show, it's going to be bits and pieces all over the place, isn't it? I mean, the corruption in America at the moment, it's mainly America. Of course, corruption's worldwide, but America is the epicenter of this shit. And I hear an awful lot about Los Angeles, especially. So California has this real heavy energy. And I think some people just think, oh, get over it. Because they're not tapped in. You know, they're just ignorant. And it's fine if you're ignorant, get through life, don't care. Other people pick up on things. So you'll feel that denseness, that heaviness, that evil, I guess. You just feel it in yourself. It makes you feel different. So you would want to remove yourself. You want to put yourself in a place where you feel happy. You feel lighter. You don't feel stressed. And it seems like right now Hollywood, so Los Angeles, is the epicenter of this whirlwind of shit, to be totally honest. So we're going to try and figure out where the hell I'm supposed to start. I'm not going to focus too much on Trump. I think there's enough coverage on that right now. This is the Billie Eilish one. Again, I'm not saying whether what's what. I mean, I could ask, but I don't really want to involve my guides in every little bloody thing.
Watch how casually she says it, like it's normal.
Babies. Ooh, I love babies. Oh yeah, they love on these. It's crazy. I mean, I do too, though, because I have an iron deficiency, so just take shit.
See, at first you think she means sucking her thumb, but she keeps looking at her wrist. I think she's saying babies like sucking her wrist.
I love babies. Oh yeah, they love on these. It's crazy. I mean, I do too, though, because I have an iron deficiency, so just take shit tastes good. Like, do you guys like the taste of blood?
Oh, this is dodgy shit. I don't want to get involved in all this crap. If my guides don't want to get involved, they won't answer, but I'm curious myself. I'm not getting the whole second camera shit out. People can either trust what comes or not. I couldn't really give a fuck. In all honesty, this all bores me after a while because it's just too much. It's like all of them, isn't it? I keep hearing all of them, but I'm not stupid enough to think everyone. We can't make a blanket statement. I'll ask. I mean, I could get... No, I can't because the camera's not plugged in. I can't do a second camera. You're just going to have to take my word for it. I don't give a shit, to be totally honest. I don't know if it's necessarily the devil, though, because they're talking about this other character, aren't they? This Baal. I don't want to get involved with all that shit too much. As Billie Eilish... Oh, okay. Has Billie Eilish done a pact with the devil or Baal to get where she is now? Well, if you look at it, it's magic. The magic, and it's something hidden because they're going within. But if you look at that, it's isolated. So you're doing that in the, behind the scenes to be successful. I've always had I've always had a bit of a dodgy feeling with her though. Like not like overwhelming bad. It's just when I first saw her, I didn't know who she was. I always had this weird feeling about her. So, I mean, that's pointing towards a yes, quite a strong yes. And that was on the back of the deck. Yeah, I don't get good vibes from her, to be entirely honest.
Do you? Does anyone here like the taste of blood? Because I like it. I like the taste of blood.
At first, it sounds like a throwaway joke. The kind of messy, chaotic, I'm being honest moment that gets a laugh and then disappears. But listen again, because it doesn't land like humor, it lands like a confession that slips out too easily.
Like, do you guys like the taste of blood? Do you? Does anyone here like the taste of blood? Because I like it.
She starts talking about blood like it's a flavor, like it's a craving, and then she doubles down not once, but repeatedly, like she's testing how far she can say out loud before anyone pushes back. The room reacts, but nobody actually stops it, and that's where it gets uncomfortable, because this is the same culture that sells itself as morally superior on stage, preaching virtue, telling everyone how to live, what to believe, what's right. It's not even just what's said. It's the ease of it, the lack of hesitation. Like this isn't shocking in their world. Like it's a normal little detail you'd say.
Not sure it's something I really should do on camera, to be totally honest. Am I protected from these rituals? I thought I was, but I was a bit nervous, to be honest. It's a big thing, isn't it? These rituals are really powerful. Now, I know what I say, people are going to think you're nuts. But I've said it before, I'm an earth angel. I know I'm an earth angel. I've had so many readings. I've had sessions with very gifted mediums, so these people of the light. And I am a light warrior. So on the other side, when my time is finished here, I will be fighting those things. The negative entities. That'll be, so I'm here to have this experience. I'm not saying that to posture myself. I don't need people to look at me like that. I'm just saying what I know on the other side. And I've already said if I was in a situation, I'd call upon the angels, Archangel Michael, the whole army of light, which I'm getting huge goosebumps now. And I've just asked on camera, of course you couldn't see me shuffle, but whatever. Am I protected from these rituals? And that is overflowing of love. Yeah, because I'm a being of light. Huh. Both cups. So yeah, I mean, I'm a challenge to them. That's the thing. But you pick your battles, I'm not going to waste my energy in the wrong direction, but I'm not scared of them either. I've always said that if I come toe to toe with these people, I wouldn't fear them. I would just know we're in a battle. It's almost like, you know what it's a bit like? And I know it seems far-fetched. You know Twilight? When you've got Edward Cullen and then you've got the others. It's like, when there's a standoff, especially when them other ones, like you've got the more powerful ones from the Vatican. So I guess it's similar to that. But you also had the other clans that came in, and there was this unnervy energy between them. Because we're all beings. So I'm a being of light against dark. So it would be a case of, I think the energies that recognize energy. So I think in that environment, they would recognize me immediately that I'm of the Edward Cullen side ilk, and I would recognize immediately that they're the other side. So I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I know what all of you are. I wouldn't really care if I'm outnumbered, to be totally honest. Not to say you win every battle you're in or anything, but yeah, I'm not the only Earth Angel, by the way. I'm not saying it like I've got wings here and all this stuff, I know how crazy it all sounds, but I'm not really caring about what it sounds like. But I'm not the only one either. But that's why an awful lot of people of the light have been suppressed for so long. Because they do what they can to try to diminish your capacity to rise up. That's what it is. And when people don't understand, you get this awful lot of time. Why would God allow this? Why would God allow that? Because we have free will here. And a lot of time, those of the light, because we're so pure, we have a lot of empathy, narcissists drain our energy. So not everyone of the light manages to grow beyond their circumstance. they suffer and they struggle. It's almost like they struggle to get rebirthed. You transition from the old version of you to this new, strong, vibrant, source of light version. And, so they don't all make it because the world is corrupt. So what it is at the moment, the world is dark, corrupt, which we're seeing, but the source that many of us are here to transition the earth from this dark to the light. But we have to shine a light on the corruption first, and then we fight the corruption, and then we cleanse it to the new. So some people are going to be here to fight it directly. Some people are going to be here to expose the corruption. And some of us, like me, are going to be here to show people the light, no matter what I come up against. So everybody's got their own little tactic here. Some are going to do this part, some are going to do that part. I'm going to show people the way. This is the corruption. This is how you can avoid it. Focus on uplifting yourself, and if you start living in a more pure way, you're not going to be susceptible to the corruption that exists. And you start to live an authentic life. And then guess what? The more people start doing that, the less corruption exists, isn't it? Because people become more pure. So anyway, when people see me, probably don't realize how deep I am, but I understand so many layers to our existence, and I know what we're up against. And it's not just in the Hollywood, by the way; it's in life in general. People have attachments they don't even realize. So when you see people do evil things and even just nasty things in general, sometimes they've got a low state of being, but some of them have attachments they wouldn't even know was there. So you've got things encouraging it. See, really just a vessel of rage, unfortunately. Anyway, let's come out of this so we can find... I don't want to just go level up, because it's just wildly different between contents. So we've had Billie Eilish. Jelly Roll's dodgy as shit. I've had feelings about him for a long time. I've seen videos in the past where he's giving out free toys and stuff in shops, and you thought, oh, that's nice, that's kind. I reposted something a long time ago. I thought, that was really cool. But I didn't really trust him before that, but that was a nice, generous act. I thought, okay, maybe he ain't as bad. And then he lost all that weight, and it's not that someone loses their weight and you think, oh, they've changed their character. It's the light extinguishes, or the real version comes out, or he has sold out and he was or it's really hard to say, isn't it? I'm not going to go into the depths here, whether he was bad to begin with or whether something's changed and there's been like this soul replacement. Either way, I don't get good vibes from him. And there is someone exposing him at the moment. But yeah, I don't get good vibes from him. I think he's definitely... There's suggestions he's the new Epstein, but in the music industry, especially country music. And I'm getting very strong vibes in that direction too. Because again, a lot of these people, they hide behind this. Like he's got all the crosses all over the tattoos and shit. Well, that's a good way to try to append an argument against, because it now looks like he's religious. But the real problem is a lot of religious people are hypocrites. They go to church, they do all the preaching, they do crimes, they're really horrible at home, they're abusive. So where do you find that in a religion? So it's almost like they do it just for show. I don't mean to disrespect people who are genuinely religious, but there's a lot of people who are hypocrites, and they just hide behind it. Anyway, let's skip around to this one then.
Jelly Roll is mass deleting comments right now. For those that don't know, Jelly Roll had a leaked recording that came out. You can go find it yourself. But since that recording, people have been very, very upset with him. And instead of addressing what all is being said about him, he's just glazing his wife's new book. Oh, and he's also mass deleting comments. How do you know this, Noah? So you see, I left a comment on Jelly Roll's post yesterday asking him to address the situation. Now I did this because I noticed that every comment under his post was like positive despite him being canceled. There's literally nobody talking about any of the allegations, leaked recording, witchcraft stuff in either him or his wife's comments. Anyways, I went and left my comment, then came back the next day, and surprisingly, my comment was not only gone from his page, I couldn't even find the comment in my TikTok activity center, like they were trying to bury this. Now, I find it very interesting how instead of addressing any of this, Jelly Roll and his wife are just talking about how her book sold 200,000 copies. Look, Jelly, nobody cares about you and your wife's probably made up numbers. The only number we want to know is how many times you went to the island. All jokes aside, I do find it incredibly strange how you're just deleting comments asking you to address a situation that is very, very, very popular right now. In my opinion, I think that makes you look...
So he hasn't done the video that we actually see. This guy's calling him out a lot, if I can find him. He's a singer, I didn't know who he was, to be honest. But he's having to video log himself just to make sure there's no accusations against him. So
I watched that Jelly Roll video last night where he came to my house. He's like, brother, $150 million, brother. Brother, $150 million. And he said,
Just like they tried paying him a load of money to shut him up. But he won't take the money. And he won't shut up.
dude, I'm sitting here going through this this clip.
And I haven't said anything. I've just been looking like what is going on.
Now check this shit out.
And on top of this, you gotta think, bro. There's stuff on it.
I'm finna clip it out and I'm gonna put it on here. Guess what Jelly says? Jelly says, yeah, man, I'm like Ghislaine Maxwell. Excuse me, what?
Excuse me, what?
Are you afraid of what's going to happen?
Well,
And to those of you who watch my content and listen to my music, I'm good.
That's that one. I haven't got a lot of clips because I'm not reposting all this stuff. Someone's made. Oh no, it's a different one. He actually made a good comment here about ticket prices. That's Skylar Grey. I think that's something different. This was dodgy as shit. Look at the state of her eyes. Now, I didn't need people to point it out to me. I just watched it anyway. I just see it in a different video, I think it was. Her eyes are crazy. You know, you get that talk of reptilians. So, you know, there's different races of human which people don't realise. And there's some that are reptilians and they're very dodgy, corrupt, and, yeah, cause a lot of shit. They don't really have much in the way of souls, if at all. So you look at these two characters, they look really off, and her eyes shift weird. Your eyes. I don't know if you saw that, if you can see that. Maybe I'll get a little bit of links to the videos if I can remember which ones I've done. But you can go and check this out yourself. But her eyes are dodgy as shit. And she's so, she just stares constantly, you know. And look how intense she is. Look at him. Who talks to someone like that? Weirdo. I mean, obviously you can say it's conspiracy this, conspiracy that, but she is dodgy vibes. That thingy one as well. What's her name? Erica? I can't remember her name is now. Oh, I can't remember her name is. But yeah, I had dodgy vibes with her early on, but a lot of people are seeing it now. I don't even need to ask for questions on her. I you know, sometimes you might go, oh, I better ask just to clarify. But with her, no, I know. The one where her husband was killed. Yeah, she's dodgy. I think that's Bob Marley, that one. I'm not sure of that video. It's got Britney there. Oh, look. I haven't got the other versions of Britney, unfortunately, because I wouldn't repost her as the alternate version, because I don't respect that version at all. I like that. But look how pure she was there. I mean, just do it. I mean, you could. I know some people are going to think, oh, she's just changed because she's going through trauma. She's not cope well. But no, this was Britney. The other one is not Britney. I wish I had a version of her now, but I haven't got it.
I used to think I had
that other one
the
doesn't even look like her half the time. You know, it's just it's very well choreographed and rehearsed, ready to press record, isn't it? That's why you got to look at it. So I don't think I've got anything else really to add. If you look at this Jim Carrey one, now bear in mind, he's been a bit more reclusive of late. He doesn't really like the spotlight anymore. He started doing a bit more art and doing different things. And I've seen him, he looks older. So you've got older, his energy's shifting. He doesn't give that fame energy anymore. You notice it with some people, they give it off, exude this fame. He doesn't have that. And he doesn't want it. And like I say, he's aging and all that, you know. So he's just lost that spark in a way. And now look at this one. It's like they're really excited that that they're famous all of a sudden. And that's what does some of these, when they shift, you notice that. They get this boost of energy and they're really excited. It's like they're experiencing it for the first time. And it's like, yeah, that's suspect. So consider that and now watch this.
Did you notice Jim Carrey's blue eyes? Nobody realized that the person accepting the award at the 51st César Awards was actually Jim Carrey's body double. First, Jim Carrey's eyes have...
I don't know about body double, but I think it could be someone else. Like, it doesn't have to be the double, but you'd say a normal double. But yeah, his eyes are brown, and then his eyes are like greeny blue.
Always been a deep brown, especially during The Mask and The Truman Show era. Those eyes carried a signature brown glow, lively and full of vitality. However, the person receiving the award had blue eyes, appearing almost unnaturally transparent under the bright stage lights. Second, anyone familiar with Jim Carrey knows that in recent years, he has gradually distanced himself from mainstream Hollywood social events and has publicly expressed his detachment from fame and celebrity culture. In contrast, the award recipient was very outgoing on stage, interacting frequently with the media and using exaggerated gestures, completely inconsistent with Jim Carrey's low-key personality. Finally, his classic movements and expressions seemed deliberately stiff. At the ceremony, he occasionally made familiar funny faces and exaggerated gestures, but these seemed like intentional imitations of Jim Carrey remembered from memory, lacking natural humor. Both the gestures and facial expressions carried a trace of mechanical precision, like a trained stand-in performing Jim Carrey. Do you think the person accepting the award at the César Awards was really Jim Carrey?
Unfortunately, I haven't shown enough clips of this version. It was very animated, a bit too much, and it was just, you know what he's like. And the eye colour was well different. And I just, looking at him, he just didn't feel the same. Now, some people put it down to Botox and all that shit. Okay, but that doesn't cover all of it. I don't know if I've got another copy of that, to be totally honest, because I don't repost every little thing, although I do repost quite a lot. I mean, look, if you want to have another example of the sacrifice thing, you got... First of all, there's this woman here who's got a story about the mansions in Hollywood. We could probably do that while I'm doing the video.
I used to work as a server for private events in Hollywood Hills. Most of the parties were what you would expect. Producers, influencers, actors pretending not to know each other. One night I got hired for a private industry mixer. This one is super hush-hush, no phones allowed, like NDA signed kind of a deal. The house was absolutely massive. All the windows were glass, literally surrounding, city lights below, and an infinity pool, that kind of a vibe. Something definitely felt off though. There was no music, there was no laughing. People were talking, but it was more in a quiet tone, and they were just kind of watching each other really closely. So around midnight, one of the main people, he asked me to bring a tray of drinks downstairs. I didn't even notice that there was a downstairs until I was guided through the kitchen, and there was like this big metal heavy door, and you opened it, you could hear like low rhythmic bass playing. There was music on the other side. I knocked lightly and I let myself inside. One thing that I noticed right off the back is it was red lighting. Not a lot of people, maybe like 15, and they were all kind of just standing in like a circle. In the center of the circle was an empty chair. Everybody kind of looked at me all at one time, not surprised, not like in a bad way, but just kind of assessing that my presence was there. One woman looked at me and she said, "You're early." And I just kind of froze and I said, "I'm just here to give out some drinks." And then a man came over, he took a drink off of the tray, and then he leaned in and whispered, "You shouldn't come down here unless you're invited." I backed out immediately, went back the way that I came, and I pulled another server and I said, "What is happening downstairs?" And she went pale and she looked at me and she said, "There is no downstairs." So I told her where I just came from, and she pulled my arm and dragged me into the kitchen. The doorway was gone. There was no door. I wondered if I took a wrong turn, but I know that the layout wasn't that big. And around midnight, towards the end of the party, when the party ended around 2 a.m., I was handed a very large envelope of cash, triple the amount that I was promised, and it said, "Thank you for not participating." I have never worked a job in the hills ever again since that time, but I do remember where it was, and sometimes when I pass that house, there's no lights on, but you can still see the silhouettes behind the glass. I used to work as a server for...
Well, look, I believe the actual story, but what I'm going to point out there, having watched it, if you look at this section, because again, that's what I do, I pick things apart a little bit myself. If you look at it, like, she said at midnight she went and did the drinks, and then she's about to say that midnight when she finished, so wait, you finished at midnight or you did the drinks at midnight? But then she said she finished at 2. But it was the fact that she had to pause. I'm wondering whether she was trying to get her story correct or not. I'm still leaning towards her telling the truth, but there was a little glitch here. Look.
Party that wasn't that big. And around midnight, towards the end of the party, when the party ended around 2 a.m.
I don't know if she did glitch it, to be totally honest. I think maybe she just turned something, pressed something. It didn't actually glitch, did it? Like her body movement didn't shift.
When the party ended around 2 a.m., And around midnight, towards the end of the party, when the party ended around
didn't it? It went like this.
And around midnight, towards the end of the party, when the party...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it could be a fake story, but I don't know. I mean, that's the thing you got to do. But I think the thing is, you could argue one's fake or potential, maybe, and then you hear another load of them, and it's like, well, yeah, this is one's not that one. This one. The real problem with this is, when you sit across the table from someone and you're telling someone what you know, you never, like in this instance, you never know if the other person's in on it. So when they go on these podcasts, like, is Joe Rogan in on it? I am not going to get involved in it because, again, when do you stop asking, is this one, is this one, is this one? You just have to assume the majority are, and trust, very, very, very careful who you trust. It's a bit like, I know we're talking about fantasy here, like, but there was a Discovery. Have anyone seen Discovery of Witches? Where the main character, she was uncovering like her abilities to a degree, but really the history of something, and it was going to unlock something quite important. And there was a lot of witches around that wanted to discover it, and no one knew how to get this book. And it was her best friend, who she thought she could trust, was the one feeding information to the other side. So in that instance, of course, it's a TV show, it's based on fiction, whatever. But it's like, it just popped into my mind. It's a good example of, even if you think you can trust someone, just be very careful, because they may just be a plant. Like, they may be planted there to be trustworthy.
They're eating babies, man. Like, that's
you think so that you think is real. So,
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles. I mean, allegedly, like, high level musicians, let's say, high level female musician is like, killing chickens every day, doing sacrifices, like,
high level.
Well, I don't want to say. I don't want to say names because I don't want to get sued, and I don't want to be dead either. They're eating babies, man.
and I don't want to be dead either. The fact that you have to exist, especially in America, worrying about repercussions of speaking up and saying something, it's just mental to me. But this world is crazy. And the fact that you could tell when he was saying allegedly every time to cover himself. Look, if you watch. So he knows. And personally, I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the two that I've just mentioned name-wise already.
Like, that's
you think so that you think is real. So,
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles. I mean, allegedly, like, high level musicians, let's say, high level female musician is like, killing chickens every day, doing sacrifices, like,
high level.
Well, I don't want to say.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Rapunzel. And they often say that a lot of these films, especially Disney, they come from something in reality. So, like, when we see the poisoned apple, and then you see, when we get tangled, they brush in their hair, it gives you humanity. It's like a fountain of youth, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if that, or that concept, stems from these rituals. And I wouldn't be surprised these rituals have gone on way into the past. I don't suppose it's a new common thing. I think it's just coming to light now. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's been going on since forever, really. And yeah, and then they just showcase it a little bit through an idea. Oh, we can make a Disney film on this, or we can make this film on that. But they literally give it to us, to expecting us not to solve the puzzle, and it makes it a bit more fun for them. Very strange, isn't it? And don't like it when people start exposing them. They think they can just get away with it forever. But yeah, it's really a strange angle to be going down, isn't it? And I know it's a strange topic to be talking about, and I get how people are going to think, oh, it's another conspiracy. Yeah, to a degree. I mean, but I get to ask, and it's always consistent with me. So I'll do it in my own time, my own space. But like I said, I don't pull on everyone because I'm not interested in celebrity culture. The way I see it is, those who are doing the digging to expose people, they'll figure it out. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can say, oh, well, you should be. I trust the ones that are dedicated to it will expose them. They will figure out the truth, I think that's the thing, because the people are doing it already. They're like figuring this one out, figuring that one out. you just be. It's like bashing your head against a wall to a degree because there's so many of them, you know. But yeah, I think the idea that, you know, I'm not trying to cover for people, but if you just use logic, I think it's more likely that there's issues within the music industry than the movie industry. But that's not to say that it's not in the movie industry. I would just say that in the movie industry, there's just too many players. You know, there's too many actors that make up a movie. There's TV show. You've got all sorts of stuff going on. I don't think for a moment all of them are corrupt, because someone's going to go in maybe naively, just getting on with it, and it might just be one or two of the cast are dodgy as shit, and you know, and everybody else is just behaving normally. I mean, I probably could give examples, but you got to be careful you start pointing out, don't you? But I think in the music industry, it's probably more likely to be rife, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's specific labels. Now, I haven't gone into the depth of that or figured that out myself because I've not been interested enough. But I wouldn't be surprised if you start digging into a pattern of behaviour. There's probably certain labels this is going to be prolific with. And then you start figuring it out a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I just think it'd be a lot easier because what it is with singers, they're solo, aren't they? So it's going to be a lot easier to tie someone to something and then exploit them for your own gain or whatever. Because there's only themselves. And if they don't agree to something, or you don't make it, they've compromised in some way, you could just find someone else, and they don't get their opportunity. That's not to say everybody that's a singer is a problem. So I still think that's not true either, is it? So I think the blanket statement I do see online where people say it's all of them, I think we can't. It's unlikely all of them. I would just say it's a lot of them. I think personally, it's the ones who have come out of nowhere, probably, if they haven't done the work. So if someone doesn't have a background in, let's say it's a comedian that's come through out of nowhere and they've got no background in comedy in the sense they've not done any of the stand-up that everybody others have done and all these things, and they've just come out of nowhere, then you go, oh, that's a bit suspect. Or someone who's maybe had a really, really long career because they've become more powerful, so then they could partake in whatever they want to a degree and get what they want. But I think if you're talking about, if you're thinking about like mid-level players, I don't think, personally, I wouldn't think so. You know, obviously, you'd never watch a movie again, would you? You'd sit there and think, oh my God, they're all at it. I can't watch this anymore. I can't watch this anymore. I don't think that's the case, but I think it can be some musicians, especially the ones who get like popular really quick, and it goes for the stratosphere. You start questioning a little bit. But even then, you could say that, and it might be someone just got genuine talent. But I think maybe that's the thing to look for, isn't it? The ones who maybe, and I think the other thing I've seen actually is music videos and live concerts where it seems like some of them are actually performing rituals, and some of them actually got blood coming out of their mouth, like they've got fake blood or it's real blood. Who knows nowadays? And it looks strange cover designs and things, and it's like, what's that telling you? Yeah, I think there's a lot of symbology, isn't there? But again, you know, I'm doing this topic just because the things are coming to light at the moment about certain people. So I thought I'd just touch on it again, just because I've already done the Britney one. I thought we'd just touch on the Jim Carrey situation, but unfortunately I haven't got a better video. Let me see if I can get another one, because I'm not sure, because I don't repost everything, but I might have liked it. There's that one on him there. I don't know if I've got it. Probably just scroll past it, to be honest. I think we're just going to have to wrap it up, to be totally honest. Because it was only recently, wasn't it? Last day, I think, really. So if it's not there, I wouldn't have thought it'd be anywhere. Again, I probably just saw it and just scrolled on. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I find it all quite exhausting. Is this the? I'll tell you one person I don't trust at all. I do not trust at all. And this is before some people have started saying things. I've not trusted him forever. I'm not even going to say his name because you can get in trouble for calling people out. Not that I give a shit, to be totally honest. You see by the video. But I've never trusted him, and I won't watch anything. He's all over Prime at the minute. I won't watch it at all. I just think, get him off my freaking screen.
His primary audience is kids, is it not?
Yeah, it's children. And now he wants to open a bank, or he's opening a bank. Your kids can get a Mr. Beast credit card. Oh boy, can't wait.
Sounds like you feel.
Look how big and popular he's become out of nowhere as well. And he's got, you can see him. I've seen videos of him where where they collaborate with other influencers or whatever. And he definitely got this dark side to him, I think.
Like he shouldn't be given the power and privilege that he has.
I think he's an extremely dangerous person. And I think that I wish more people knew who he was behind the camera, because I think, not the kids, but especially the parents, like I think they should know, because he is so popular and it does hold a lot of weight and influence. And even the candy bars he's selling at Walmart and stuff, like I just think parents should know what they're supporting.
Are you worried about retaliation from him or his people?
I would say that there's a reason he hasn't sued me, because if we went to court, everything would come out in discovery and stuff he doesn't probably want on his public record forever. They know what I know and I know what they know, and it's just kind of is what it is.
You're badass.
I know too much.
Yeah.
I think that's the other problem, is I know too much. Wish I didn't.
His primary
doesn't really go in his favour too well, does it? But yeah, I've never had good vibes with that one. I mean, I could ask now. I'm not going to get into it. I don't need to. On some people, I genuinely don't need to. I just know, looking at them, I just know immediately. Anyway, I'm not going to go any longer. I think I've got way longer than I planned to on this one. I've probably been a bit rambly, really, but it's just the energy that I get from a lot of them people, and the vibes I get, and I just know there's a lot of dodgy shit they've been doing. And you could give me a lineup of people, and I'd go that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. There might be a couple you go, well, I'm not sure, but if you've got to think, if you're not sure, it's probably because maybe you like them or something, and you're thinking, no, I wish I'm not. No, they seem nice, but really, if you're not sure, probably leaning towards the fact they are. It's just they're good at hiding it, and it's all energy. What energy do you feel looking at them? The energy you're picking up off them. Anyway, yeah.